All right, you lucky bastards. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most famous piles of rocks on the planet.
Piles of rocks.
Yeah, you know that massive thing? The Great Fucking Wall of China.
I see where we're going with this.
Damn right we are. We're gonna rip apart the bullshit and get to the juicy truth about this brick behemoth.
Sounds like a plan. I'm all for separating fact from fiction.
So you think you know the Great Wall? Think again. Let's cut the crap and address the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the dragon in space.
The dragon in space. I'm intrigued.
You've probably heard the Great Wall is so massive you can see it from the goddamn moon, right? Well, guess what? That's complete bollocks.
It is a persistent myth, unfortunately. No matter how many times NASA debunks it, it seems to stick around.
It's like trying to spot a flea on a gorilla's ass from a mile away. It's not going to happen. So next time some asshat tries to tell you that, hit them with some facts. But what about from low Earth orbit? Is that possible? Can you actually make it out, or is it just a blurry line?
It is possible to see the Great Wall from low Earth orbit, but it's not easy. It takes perfect conditions and a keen eye. Even astronaut Leroy Chiao, who took a photo from the International Space Station, wasn't sure if he'd actually captured it.
So basically, unless you're an eagle-eyed astronaut with a kick-ass camera, you're shit out of luck. All right, enough with the visibility bullshit. Let's get down to brass tacks.
Sounds good to me.
Who the hell built this thing and why? This wasn't some weekend DIY project. We're talking thousands of miles of stone and brick.
You're right. It was a massive undertaking spanning centuries and involving numerous dynasties. Each had their reasons for adding to it.
Hold up, centuries. We're talking ancient history here.
Absolutely. The earliest sections date back to the 7th century BC, during the Warring States period. Different Chinese states were constantly fighting each other, building walls to protect their own territory.
So it was like a giant game of King of the Hill with everyone building their own little fortresses.
In essence, yes. Each state was vying for power and security.
Makes sense. But how did all these separate walls become the Great Wall we know today?
That's where Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor, comes in. He unified China in 221 BC, and recognizing the need for a unified defense system, connected and fortified the existing walls.
To keep out who exactly?
The Xiongnu, nomadic tribes from the north, were a constant threat to the newly unified empire. They were skilled warriors, and their raids terrorized Chinese settlements.
So basically, he was like the original build-the-wall guy. But instead of Mexicans, he was trying to keep out these Xiongnu dudes.
It's an oversimplification, but the analogy holds. The Xiongnu threat was very real, driving many of the early wall-building efforts.
Damn, sounds like they were a force to be reckoned with. No wonder the Chinese were shitting bricks.
They were certainly a formidable adversary. The wall was a way to try and control their movements and protect the empire's borders.
Okay, but how much of that original Qin Dynasty wall is still standing? We're talking over 2,000 years ago.
Very little, I'm afraid. Time, weather, and human activity have taken their toll. Most of what we see today dates back to the Ming Dynasty.
Ah, the Ming Dynasty. Those guys were obsessed with the Great Wall, weren't they?
They were. They ruled from the 14th to the 17th centuries, and they saw the wall as a symbol of their power and a crucial defense against the Mongols.
The Mongols, those guys were like the Genghis Khan fan club, right? Brutal warriors, expert horsemen, all that jazz.
Exactly. They posed a significant threat, having conquered China under Kublai Khan a century earlier. The Ming emperors were determined to prevent another invasion.
Smart move. Those Mongol hordes were nothing to fuck with. So the Ming Dynasty basically went all in on the wall building craze. What made their wall so different? Give us the juicy details.
They used bricks and stone extensively, making the wall far stronger and more durable than the earlier earthen walls. They incorporated watchtowers, battlements, and sophisticated signaling systems to create a truly formidable defense system.
So they basically said, yeah, we built a wall, but we're going to make sure it's tricked out with all the latest security features too.
You could say that. They were leaving nothing to chance.
And it's not just the Ming Dynasty, right? Didn't some other non-Han dynasties get in on the action too?
You're right. Even non-Han dynasties like the Jin, who were of Jurchen origin, contributed to the wall's construction. They built their own walls further north to defend against other nomadic groups.
But hold up, other walls. Tell me more about those bad boys. Were they as badass as the Ming Wall?
They served a different purpose, mainly to demarcate territory and control the movement of nomadic tribes. The construction wasn't as elaborate as the Ming Wall, but they were still significant barriers.
So basically, everyone was getting in on the wall building action. It was like the hottest trend in ancient China.
It was a necessity in a world constantly threatened by invasion and conflict. Building walls was seen as essential for maintaining order and protecting their way of life.
Survival of the fittest, or in this case, survival of the best wall builders. All right, enough history lessons for now. Let's get to the really interesting shit. The myths and legends surrounding the Great Wall. I'm talking about ghosts, dragons, buried treasure, all that good stuff.
Buried treasure. Now that's a story I'd like to hear more about. But seriously, the Great Wall is absolutely steeped in folklore and mythology. It's seen so much history, it's practically dripping with stories of love, betrayal, heroism, and of course, a whole lot of bloody tragedy. Buried treasure, I'm not sure about. But what I can tell you is that the Great Wall is absolutely steeped in folklore and mythology. You know, it's seen so much history. It's practically dripping with stories of love, betrayal, heroism, and of course, a whole lot of bloody tragedy.
Great, now you're talking my language.
Yeah.
Hit me with some of the best ones. The juicier, the better.
One of the most famous legends is the story of Meng Jiangnu. This chick's husband was forced to work on the wall, and like many others, he died during its construction. Legend has it, she wept so damn hard, a whole section of the wall just crumbled, revealing her husband's bones.
Damn, talk about a ride-or-die chick. Some serious dedication to her man. Makes you wonder if she was packing some explosives in those tear ducts.
Oh, whether it was tears or dynamite, it's a pretty tragic tale. And, you know, it's often used to illustrate the human cost of building this massive structure. It reminds us that it wasn't just an abstract historical event. Real people lived and died to make this thing happen.
Yeah, definitely puts things into perspective. Okay, what other spooky shit do you have for us? Don't tell me those are the only ghost stories attached to this thing.
Oh, there are plenty more. There are stories of soldiers who died in battle. Their spirits still haunting the ramparts, unable to find peace. Some say you can hear the clang of their armor or the whispers of their voices on a quiet night.
Okay, that's actually kind of creepy. I'm getting goosebumps over here.
Right.
But I gotta admit, it adds a whole other level of fascination to the Great Wall. Like, it's not just a bunch of old bricks, it's a portal to the afterlife or some shit.
Right. And of course, you can't forget the dragons. The Great Wall wouldn't be complete without some epic dragon tales.
Dragons. Now we're talking. Were they the fire-breathing, kidnap the princess kind of dragons? Tell me more about these mythical beasts.
There are stories of both benevolent and malevolent dragons associated with the wall. Some legends say that the wall's path was inspired by the movements of a giant dragon, like it was slithering across the landscape, and they just built the wall right on top of it.
A dragon-shaped wall. That's fucking metal. I can totally see why they went with that design. It's intimidating as hell. Imagine trying to invade a country protected by a giant stone dragon.
Exactly. It adds to the mystique and the legend of the Great Wall. These stories, these myths, they all weave together to create a rich tapestry of culture and imagination surrounding this incredible structure.
It's not just a wall. It's a damn epic poem etched in stone. All right, so we talked about the history, the construction, the myths and legends, but let's get real for a second. This thing's old as hell. What's the condition of the Great Wall today? Is it all crumbling into dust, or is there still some of its former glory left?
It's a mixed bag, to be honest. Some sections, especially those near Beijing that are popular tourist destinations, are well preserved. They've been restored and maintained to showcase their architectural brilliance. But then there are other parts that are, well, let's just say they haven't aged so gracefully.
Wait, seriously? People are letting this historical treasure just rot away. What the fuck is wrong with them?
It's a complex issue. There's neglect, vandalism, even people stealing bricks to sell on the black market. It's a damn shame, really. A 2012 report stated that 22% of the Ming Great Wall has already disappeared.
Fucking hell, people are morons. They'll carve their initials into anything, won't they? And steal anything that isn't nailed down, apparently. Can't we just put up a giant sign that says, "Hey, assholes, stop destroying history"?
I wish it were that simple. But you know, there are organizations and individuals working hard to preserve the Great Wall. They're fighting to protect it from further damage, restore dilapidated sections, and educate people about its importance. It's an uphill battle, but they're doing some amazing work.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Someone needs to give a shit about this stuff. All right, let's shift gears for a second and talk about the actual building process. We keep saying it was this massive undertaking, but I don't think people really grasp the scale of this thing.
Right.
Break it down for us, just how long is the Great Wall, really?
Well, a 2012 survey measured it at over 21,000 kilometers, including all its branches and sections. That's over 13,000 miles. To put that in perspective, that's like walking from New York to Los Angeles and back, and then doing it again for good measure.
Holy shit, over 13,000 miles. That's longer than my attention span. And they built all this without bulldozers, cranes, or even a decent cup of coffee?
Exactly. It was incredibly labor-intensive. They used human and animal power, simple tools, and sheer ingenuity to construct this monumental structure.
I'm getting a mental image of a bunch of dudes hauling ass up a mountain with giant bricks on their backs, sweating their balls off, and cursing the emperor under their breath.
It wasn't a walk in the park, that's for sure. The working conditions were brutal, and many workers died during the construction.
Jesus, that's dark. All right, I need a shot of tequila after that mental image. But seriously, think about it. This wall has stood for centuries, seen empires rise and fall, witnessed battles, invasions, all that crazy shit. What do you think its legacy is? What does it say about China, about humanity?
It's a complex legacy, no doubt. On one hand, it's a symbol of China's strength and resilience, a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. But on the other hand, it also represents a closed-off defensive mentality, a desire to keep the outside world at bay. And we can't forget the massive human costs, the countless lives lost during its construction.
Yeah, that's the fucked up part. It's easy to romanticize the Great Wall, to see it as this epic monument to human achievement. But we can't ignore the blood, sweat, and probably a lot of tears that went into building it.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even the grandest, most awe-inspiring creations often come at a steep price.
All right, I'm feeling a bit philosophical now.
Yeah.
All this talk about empires and legacies and the weight of history. Let's lighten things up a bit. Tell me about the sticky rice mortar. That shit was blowing my mind earlier.
Ah, yes, the sticky rice mortar. It's one of the more fascinating aspects of the Great Wall's construction. They mixed sticky rice soup with slaked lime, and it created an incredibly strong bonding agent, much stronger than regular mortar.
So they were basically building a wall with fucking rice porridge. Yeah. That's some next level shit right there. Did it at least smell good when it rained?
I'm not sure about the smell, but it was definitely effective. The sticky rice mortar helped to create a more durable and weather-resistant structure. And, this technique is still being studied today by scientists and engineers who are looking for more sustainable and eco-friendly building materials.
So the ancient Chinese were basically eco-warriors. Who knew? They were building sustainable fortifications while kicking Mongol ass. That's badass.
It speaks to their ingenuity and resourcefulness. They were able to use readily available materials and adapt them to create something truly remarkable.
Okay, I'm officially impressed. They built the 13,000-mile wall with sticky rice and a whole lot of manpower. That's some next-level shit right there. But here's the big question. What's the future of the Great Wall? Is it doomed to crumble into dust, or will it survive for another 1,000 years? What are people doing to protect this magnificent beast?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The Great Wall faces numerous challenges, from natural erosion to human encroachment, and of course those asshole tourists who think it's okay to steal bricks for souvenirs.
Seriously, what is wrong with people? It's like they have a primal urge to destroy beautiful things.
It's definitely frustrating, but there are also a lot of dedicated people and organizations working tirelessly to preserve the Great Wall. They're doing restoration work, implementing conservation measures, and educating the public about the importance of protecting this UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Good. Someone needs to be the voice of reason in this world full of chaos. All right, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the history, the myths, the engineering marvels of the Great fucking Wall of China. We've busted some myths, learned some fascinating facts, and hopefully had a few laughs along the way.
It's been a fascinating journey, hasn't it? And there's still so much more to explore, so many stories to uncover.
My brain is fried just thinking about it. But hey, if you're ever feeling adventurous, book a flight to China. Grab a bottle of tequila and some sticky rice balls and go check out the Great Wall for yourself. Just don't try to steal any bricks they're watching. They probably have some sticky rice mortar ready to throw at you.
Always watching.
All right, folks, that's it for this deep dive. We've taken you on a wild ride through the history and legends of the Great Wall, and hopefully we've left you with a newfound appreciation for this incredible structure.
It's more than just a wall. It's a testament to human ambition, ingenuity, and the enduring power of stories.
And a reminder that even the greatest walls can't hold back the tide of time forever. But hey, at least they left us with some kick-ass stories and some sticky rice recipes. Until next time, stay curious, you beautiful bastards. So we've learned the Great Wall isn't visible from the moon, was built in stages by a bunch of different dynasties, and is held together with fucking sticky rice.
And haunted by heartbroken widows and guarded by badass dragons. Don't forget those details.
Yeah, true. It's been a wild ride.
Absolutely. And there's still so much more to explore, so many layers to this story. We've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, my brain is officially fried. But this whole deep dive has made me think about walls in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, we build walls for all sorts of reasons, right? To protect ourselves, to keep others out, to define boundaries.
Right, like those young you assholes back in the day.
Exactly. But sometimes those walls end up trapping us, separating us, creating more problems than they solve.
That's a really interesting point. You know, the Great Wall, for all its grandeur and historical significance, is ultimately a symbol of division. It was built to keep people apart, to create a clear distinction between us and them.
Us versus them. Yeah, I get that.
And that kind of mentality, that fear of the other, it's something that we still grapple with today in all aspects of our lives.
Damn, that's deep. It makes you wonder if we're all just building metaphorical walls around ourselves.
Yeah.
Like with our beliefs, our prejudices, our fears.
It's a pretty common human tendency, unfortunately.
Maybe instead of building more walls, we should be figuring out how to tear them down.
I think that's a crucial message, especially in today's world.
Why is that?
Well, we live in a time of increasing polarization, right? Where people are quick to retreat into their own echo chambers and demonize anyone who disagrees with them.
It's like everyone's got their own little great wall built out of bullshit and ignorance.
Yeah.
And they're throwing sticky rice bombs at anyone who tries to climb over it.
It's a recipe for disaster, really. When we shut ourselves off from different perspectives, different ideas, we limit our own growth and understanding.
So what's the solution?
Yeah.
How do we start tearing down these walls? Do we all need to go on some kind of global ayahuasca retreat and hug it out?
I don't know about the ayahuasca, but I think open communication is a good place to start. Being willing to listen to each other, to engage in respectful dialogue, even when we disagree.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's got to be more than just talking, right? We got to be willing to walk the walk, to step outside of our comfort zones, to challenge our own assumptions.
Absolutely. It takes courage to confront our own biases, to question the narratives we've been told.
And you know what else takes courage? Admitting that sometimes walls are necessary. Like when you're dealing with asshole neighbors or, those Mongol hordes we were talking about.
Fair point. Sometimes boundaries are necessary for our own safety and well-being.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance, between protecting ourselves and staying open to the world.
I think that's a great takeaway from our deep dive into the Great Wall. It's a reminder that human history is full of complexities and contradictions.
And sticky rice mortar. Let's not forget the sticky rice mortar.
Of course. The sticky rice mortar, a symbol of ingenuity and resourcefulness.
All right, folks, that's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. We've explored the Great Wall of China from all angles. The history, the myths, the engineering, the sticky rice.
They're the metaphorical walls we build in our own lives.
We've busted some myths, learned some fascinating facts, and hopefully had a few laughs along the way.
It's been a real pleasure exploring this topic with you.
Likewise. So until next time, stay curious, you beautiful bastards. And remember, whether you're building walls or tearing them down, do it with a little bit of sticky rice and a whole lot of heart.